Welcome to the AEN Stories channel.
I'm Nathan, a 41-year-old landscape architect in Boulder, Colorado, where the autumn of 2025 draped the city in a shimmering veil of golden aspens, their leaves trembling in the crisp, pine-scented air, carrying the faint, sharp promise of snow. The Flatirons, jagged and eternal, loomed beyond our Mapleton Hill neighborhood, their granite faces framing a life I'd spent 16 years cultivating with my wife, Claire, 11, married, 5 dating. Our life was a meticulously designed garden, each element placed with care. Her vibrant wildflower sketches adorned the walls of our craftsman bungalow. My blueprints for urban green spaces spilled across a cluttered drafting table, and succulents thrived in our sunlit bay window, resilient despite our occasional neglect. The house, with its creaking hardwood floors and wraparound porch, was a sanctuary, alive with echoes of our laughter. The patter of Sage's paws, our border collie, her black and white fur a blur of joy and quiet moments that felt like roots sinking deep into rocky soil. Mornings were sacred. It'd grind coffee beans, the rich, nutty aroma curling through the kitchen like a warm embrace, while Claire chopped fruit for smoothies, her knife tapping a steady rhythm against the cutting board, her voice humming folk tunes, Fleet Foxes, or the Lumineers that drifted through open windows, mingling with the dawn's cool, mountain air. Evenings, we'd hike the winding trails of the Flatirons, Sage's leash swinging as she bounded ahead, her tail a metronome of enthusiasm, while we debated the merits of native grasses versus ornamental shrubs or spun dreams of a sustainable farmstead, its fields bursting with wildflowers, a greenhouse glowing under starlight. It was a life I cherished, a landscape shaped with intention, its blooms a testament to our shared devotion. But even the most vibrant gardens can wither, their colors fading under hidden neglect or invasive pests, and trust, if learned, can erode like soil beneath the weight of secrets. Weeds creeping through cracks you never saw forming. Claire was a botanist, her passion for plants as vivid as her unguarded smile, her calloused hands often dusted with soil or streaked with green, coaxing life from barren earth, her touch as gentle with seedlings as it was with me in our quiet moments. Her blue eyes, sharp with curiosity, seemed to read the secrets of every leaf, every root, and he'd watch her at community garden events, kneeling in the dirt with children, her blonde hair catching sunlight as she explained how bees dance to share nectar's locations, her laughter a melody that drew smiles from even the shyest kids. She'd point to a bumblebee, its fuzzy body dusted with pollen, and describe its waggle dance with the same reverence she'd give a rare orchid, her voice alive with wonder. I'd stand back, my heart swelling, marveling at how she made the world feel bigger, brighter, more alive. My days were spent designing parks and urban green spaces, sketching layouts that balanced ecology with aesthetics, my world a canvas of trails, meadows, and carefully placed trees. Our home was a living reflection of us, her sketches of lupin and columbine framed on the walls, their purples and blues as organic as her spirit, my drafting table cluttered with topographic maps, plant catalogues, and pencils worn to stubs from endless revisions. Sage's muddy paw prints a constant on our hardwood floors, a reminder of her joyful chaos. We'd sit on our porch at dusk, the air cool with the scent of mountain sage, sipping local IPAs from Upslope Brewing or herbal tea brewed from Claire's garden mint, talking about the future children chasing sage through a meadow, a greenhouse for her experiments, a trip to Costa Rica to study rainforests, inspired by her love for tropical flora and its untamed beauty. I thought our roots were deep, our growth aligned toward a shared canopy, but roots can tangle beneath the surface, and I was too busy pruning the visible blooms to focus on the garden's design, to notice hers reaching for someone else's light. Our love story began 17 years ago at a conservation conference in Denver, a bustling event filled with academics and environmentalists. I was presenting a park design, my slides packed with schematics for native plant restoration, when I spotted Claire across the crowded room, debating soil microbes with a fire that made her stand out like a sunflower in a field of grass. She wore a simple linen shirt, her blonde hair tied back, her hands animated as she spoke, her passion a spark that drew me in. After my talk, she approached, teasing me about my fancy blueprints, her grin playful yet warm, and sketched a columbine on my conference badge, its delicate spurs drawn with precision. I was hooked, her energy a seedling taking root in my structured world, her spontaneity a burst of color against my measured lines. Our first date was a hike at Chautauqua Park, the flatirons rising like ancient sentinels, our conversation flowing from ecosystems to art, our dreams intertwining before we kissed under a pine canopy, the air sharp with resin and possibility. We spent early weekends exploring Boulder's trails, collecting wildflower seeds or sketching vistas at Pearl Street cafes, the clink of coffee cups a soundtrack to our laughter. We'd share beers at Upslope Brewing, debating the ethics of non-native plants, Sage sprawled under the table, her tail thumping against our boots. The night we adopted Sage, a rescue border collie with a fierce spirit and a knack for digging. We laughed as she tore up our backyard, her paws a blur of dirt, her energy a spark that lit up our evenings. Those memories were my anchor, a touchstone I returned to when life felt unsteady, a reminder of why our design worked. But anchors can drag through mud, pulling up questions I wasn't ready to face, and those moments now felt like relics of a garden left untended. The first signs of trouble were subtle, like a plant wilting before its leaves yellow, a droop you dismiss as thirst. By March, Claire started staying late at the university lab, citing a new research project on native grasses and their role in carbon sequestration. A study, she said, could reshape land management policies across the Rockies. She'd come home after dusk, her hair slightly mussed, no longer in her practical braid, her cheeks flushed with a warmth that seemed more than a long day's work. Her phone, once left carelessly on the counter, its worn case scratched from years of use, stayed in her pocket now, or turned face down on the table, its screen lighting up with notifications she'd dismiss with a quick, practiced smile. Just a colleague with a planted question, she'd say, her tone breezy, as if deflecting a passing cloud, her eyes darting to the window or the floor. I didn't question it at first. Trust was the soil of our marriage, rich and loamy, nourishing every moment we shared. I saw it as the bedrock of our design, a constant like the flatirons that framed Boulder, steady and unchanging, but trust, if learned, can be a drought, drying out roots you thought were strong, leaving cracks in the earth you don't notice until it's too late. April brought clearer signs, like weeds overtaking a garden, their roots stealing nutrients from the plants you meant to nurture. Claire started dressing differently, flowy skirts in earthy greens and ochres, their fabric catching the breeze like petals, a shift from her usual cargo pants and field shirts stained with soil and chlorophyll. She'd come home smelling faintly of sagebrush, a wild, musky scent I didn't recognize, nothing like the eucalyptus lotion she'd used since we met at that conference. That first encounter was a memory I clung to. Her teasing grin, her columbine sketch, the way her passion for soil microbes lit up the room. It was a touchstone, a reminder of our roots. But now that energy felt directed elsewhere, that anchor dragging through uncertainty, her stories about work grew vague, lacking the vivid details. She once shared how a rare orchid bloomed unexpectedly in the lab's greenhouse, its petals a triumph of patience, or how a student's experiment on soil fungi went hilariously wrong, leaving a Petra dish of neon green chaos. She mentioned Ethan, an ecologist who joined her team to study alpine meadows, but her voice shifted when his name came up to light, like a breeze scattering seeds before you can catch them. I was swamped with a city park initiative, a high-profile contract to redesign a downtown green space with native plants and sustainable water features. My days a blur of site visits, client meetings, and late-night sketches at my drafting table. My eyes burned from staring at topographic maps, my mind racing with deadlines and budget constraints. I dismissed my unease as stress, my own or hers, seeing weeds where there might be healthy growth. But doubt is a seed, and once planted, it spreads fast, its roots tangling through every thought, choking out certainty. May brought more signs, each one a crack in our carefully tended plot, a fissure spreading through the soil we'd nurtured. Claire's fieldwork trip stretched late into the evening, sometimes past 10, the house dark except for the porch light's soft glow. It's been cutting through the twilight like a beacon she didn't seem to see. Shed slipping quietly, her cheeks flushed, her boots oddly clean for someone who'd been hiking all day, talking vaguely about soil sampling or data collection with gaps I couldn't fill. Sage would greet her with enthusiasm, tail whipping against the hardwood, her black and white fur a blur as she spun. But Claire's pats were distracted, her fingers lingering on Sage's collar as if her mind were elsewhere. Her phone buzzed constantly, a persistent hum filling our evening's silence, and Shed silenced it with a quick glance, her fingers moving too fast, her eyes avoiding mine. I'd lie awake, her breathing steady beside me in our bed, the flannel sheets we'd chosen together feeling like a barrier, their softness a cruel contrast to the tension between us. Moonlight filtered through our blinds, casting slatted shadows like bars, and he'd wonder who was texting her, who was making her smile in ways I hadn't seen in months, who was planting seeds in her heart I couldn't reach. The questions grew like vines, twisting around every thought, and I couldn't prune them away. I started analyzing everything, my architect's brain turning our marriage into a blueprint to dissect, searching for flaws in the design. Had she always been this distant, or was I just noticing now, my eyes open to the erosion? Had I missed a critical element, some need I hadn't met? I thought back to our early days, when we'd met at that conference, where she'd been a burst of green in my grayscale world. Our first date at Chautauqua, the flat irons framing our laughter, felt boundless, like a meadow stretching toward the horizon. We'd spend weekends hiking Mount Sanitas, collecting seeds or sketching at cafes, our dreams hers to restore native habitats, mine to design living parks as vibrant as the wildflowers we loved. I remembered our wedding in a meadow near El Dorado Springs, Claire in a linen dress, promising to grow with you through every season, her eyes locked on mine as wildflowers swayed. When had that joy faded? I recalled moments of her restlessness last Thanksgiving, staring out the window during dinner, her fork hovering over mashed potatoes or spring, when she spoke of feeling stuck in her research, her voice heavy with longing. I'd listened, offered a weekend getaway to Crested Butte, but she brushed it off, saying it was just stress. Maybe I hadn't truly heard her, too caught in my designs, my deadlines, my need to create lasting spaces. June was a turning point, the signs too loud, like a garden overrun with invasives. Claire mentioned a new alpine meadow study, but details were hazy, no specific sites, just vague talk of working closely with Ethan. Shed returned late, eyes alight with a passion I hadn't seen in months, a spark that once belonged to our shared dreams of a farmstead under the stars. When I asked about her day, she deflected, her words abstract, like a sketch without depth. Her sketchbook lay untouched, its pages blank where they once burst with pensman and yarrow. Her field bag held a pressed pensman, no notes. I'd hike alone with Sage, the flat-irons trails quiet except for gravel crunching under my boots, the air sharp with pine and dust, my mind tangled with questions. Boulder's vibrant farmers' markets, its mountain views, felt distant, their beauty mocking our fading connection. I tried to reconnect, to tend our garden before it withered. One evening, over quinoa bowls, the kitchen fragrant with cilantro and lime, the table set with her poppy-painted plates, I asked about her study, about Ethan, hoping for a bridge back to us. "It's going well," she said, eyes on her bowl, quinoa untouched. "Just lab stuff." Her words felt rehearsed, lacking the warmth of our old talks. I pressed gently, asking about species or sites, but she deflected, mentioning a drought-resistant grass vaguely. My appetite faded, tension settling like fog. I wanted to demand the truth, but fear of frost on my heart held me back. What if I shattered our life for nothing, or worse, confirmed my fears? July brought a cold snap. I took a day off, sketching a park trail, Sage snoring at my feet. Claire said she was at a Netherland field site, but when I texted to drop off lunch, she didn't reply. The message read, but unanswered. Driven by dread, I drove to her lab, finding it empty, her desk bare, her lab coat unused. My stomach sank. On Pearl Street, I saw her car at the root cellar. A cozy cafe with twinkle lights and acoustic music, not a field site. I sat in my car, hands trembling, mind racing like a storm over the Rockies. Maybe it was a colleague, a student, but doubt grew, its thorns sharp. I didn't confront her, needing evidence, not assumptions. I'm the guy who designs harmony, not chaos. Suspicion became a blight. Her field gear was clean despite trips, her phone tucked away quickly. New silver leaf earrings a labmate's gift. I checked her phone in secret, hating myself, finding texts, missed you today, can't wait for tomorrow. No name, but I knew Ethan. My pulse raced, each message a wound, but fear paralyzed me. It forced smiles as she emerged from the shower, her eyes avoiding mine, the air heavy with unspoken truths. August brought the breaking point. Home early, sketching. I checked her laptop, left open, her email logged in. A thread with Ethan revealed months of meetups, lunches at the root cellar, walks at Chautauqua. Her words, "You make me feel alive, more than a role." They'd met at a February conference I skipped, their bond growing from work to something deeper. Details haunted me. A bench by a creek, a folk playlist, her June confession of falling for him. I read until my vision blurred, my heart collapsing like a failed design. Our life, our Chautauqua hike, Banff honeymoon, Sage's adoption felt hollow. When Claire came home, I showed her the laptop. Her keys fell, her face pale. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered, tears streaming. Ethan was more than a colleague. They'd shared lunches, walks, a May kiss by a creek. She felt trapped, our life delimiting for her dreams of leading a restoration project. She swore it wasn't physical beyond that, but the emotional betrayal cut deeper, a wound through our 16 years. I wanted to scream, but felt only emptiness, our garden barren. We sat in the living room, sage between us, oblivious to the storm. The TV played a Costa Rica rainforest documentary, its lush greens mocking our ruin. Claire's voice cracked as she explained. Ethan saw her as a woman with dreams, not just a botanist or wife, freeing her from routine. I didn't know how to tell you, she said. Hands twisting, eyes pleading. I asked questions I dreaded when, where, why. A kiss in May, confessions over cold lattes, late trail walks under stars. Her words were thorns, each piercing deeper. I thought of our wedding, her linen dress in the Eldorado Springs meadow, her vows to grow through every season. Had it been a lie, a design too shallow to hold? We tried therapy with Dr. Lynn, her calm voice cutting through our defenses. Claire admitted feeling invisible, her identity buried under routine. She needed more, a spark Ethan offered. I confessed my distraction, to focused on part projects, missing her restlessness, her talk of leading a project to shift policy, of needing more. It offered a greenhouse, a Seattle conference, but Shed brushed it off. Had I been too blind, too caught in my blueprints? We tried date nights at the bitter end, sipping beers to the Lumineers, but her betrayal lingered, trust too broken to mend quickly. I'd wake at 2 a.m., replaying her late nights, the earrings, her blank sketchbook, the pain a constant weed. By October, we separated. I moved to a stark apartment downtown, the silence deafening without Sage's barks or Claire's humming. Cooking for one pasta. Stir-fry felt sterile without her sketchbooks, seed packets, half-finished tea mugs, relics a Rocky Mountain trail map. Her note calling me her favorite architect cut fresh wounds. I threw myself into work, designing parks with precision I couldn't apply to my life, running along Boulder Creek. The water's rush a faint distraction. The cottonwood's golden leaves felt hollow, a reminder of our lost garden. Friends offered lifelines. Mark, a colleague, invited me to trivia nights at Upslope, laughing over plant facts, though my mind drifted to Claire. Rachel, my sister, called from Portland, urging visits with promises of Columbia Gorge hikes. My hiking group, led by Leela, a botanist friend, organized trail cleanups. Just keep moving, Leela said, handing me gloves. Their kindness tethered me, but sympathy stung like pity, a reminder of my failed design. One evening, Over beers with Mark at the bitter end, he asked, "You okay, man?" I shrug, the Ypres bitter, my words stuck. "It's like a garden you didn't see dying," I said finally. He nodded, clapping my shoulder. "You'll plant a new one." In December, I saw Claire at a Pearl Street farmer's market, her booth vibrant with plant starters, her smile free, her laughter carrying over the crowd. She looked lighter, as if our marriage's weight had lifted. I wanted to ask if she was happy, if Ethan was worth it, but I turned away, the hurt to raw, the market's colours kale greens, heirloom tomatoes blurring into a haze. I walked to my car, chest tight, the busker's music fading, grief a heavy stone. Rebuilding is slow, like planting in rocky soil. Running along Boulder Creek, each mile of victory, grounds me. The mountain's presence a steady anchor. Work sketching meadows, balancing plant palettes reminds me I can create beauty from chaos. I joined a hiking group, their talks of ecology pulling me out of my head, their laughter a light in my darkness. I carry a sketchbook, drawing vistas without a plan, finding freedom in chaos. I went on a date at Ozo Caf with Leela, a teacher whose humour made me laugh, a sound I hadn't heard in months. We talked about Boulder's gold rush history, flawed stories, and for an hour, I felt like Nathan again, not a shattered husband. It wasn't love, but a seedling, a hint I could feel again. Solo therapy with Dr. Lynn digs through my pain. Why did I feel responsible for Claire's choices? Who am I without her? It defined myself through us, our marriage a framework for my identity. Her betrayal was a loss of self, a collapsed structure. I'm learning to forgive, not for her, but for me, to clear soil for growth. I'm sketching a new life, liking the person in becoming, trusting without fear of weeds. It's messy, but I'm getting there, one seed, one step at a time. Healing isn't linear. Some days, a photo us hiking, sage photobomb brings pain as fresh as the day I read her emails. I'd run past her lab, hating myself for caring, or see a couple at a cafe, envying their ease. Other days, I laugh with Mark over a design joke, lose myself in a vibrant park project, or hike with my group, debating rewilding, feeling whole. I run along the creek, the air crisp, the water reflecting the peaks, and feel hope, a belief I can rebuild a life that's mine. I don't hate Claire, though the thought haunts dark hours when my apartment's silence feels like a void. I hate her choice to break our garden, to find in Ethan what she couldn't in me. I hate that I didn't see it, believing we were unshakable. But I'm letting go, forgiving for my sake, freeing myself to plant new roots. I'm learning to live with scars, not as wounds, but as proof I survived, a story still growing, a garden taking shape. Thank you for listening to my story, raw and real, a landscape of pain and hope, shaped by choices and wounds. If it moved you, if it echoed the weight of love or betrayal, subscribe to End Stories for more tales of human struggle, love, loss, and redemption, reminding us we're all planting seeds in our heart's soil.